Hey, welcome back. Welcome. There is so much going on this week, and I hope you had a good weekend. Has Sarah Boone been so busy racking up negative inmate behavior reports that she forgot about her appeal? Let's talk about it.
Social media has made me a pariah. It has caused great oppression and undeniable disadvantages.
Sarah Boone has less than 20 days to file her appeal or it's over. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't she have an attorney that was on the job named Josh? I thought that he was handling it and taking care of things, but apparently not. And again, where are the Delpines? They were supposed to help her get her ducks in a row so she knew what to plan on. And now it appears as if they have just disappeared. Is it because of her guilty sentence? Have you guys heard anything about updates on the appeal? I was hanging out on the YouTube streets and came across Frank Bankowitz and got a little excited. Haven't seen him in a while, but he was giving his opinion on Sarah Boone's appeal, and I want to share it with you guys. Let's listen.
Says, please, would this be it? If she misses this 20-day deadline, is it over for her and life in prison it will be?
Yes, that's basically it. If the Court of Appeals has entered an order saying she's got 20 days to file her initial brief and she fails to do it, they can dismiss the appeal and she has no recourse after.
Okay, Frank was having a little connectivity issues, but you heard what he said, that there is no recourse if she misses this deadline. Where is her attorney? And what is she up to? I know she's not so busy volunteering and allegedly stealing gloves and cheese that she has forgotten about her appeal date. So I'm really curious. Where are her scissor sisters? Is Christina not available? If Lana, her trusty assistant, was here, this would never have happened.
Frank, any idea what the holdup could be? Because she seemed eager to appeal the decision.
Well, I don't know who's actually handling the appeal. I'm not sure if her trial attorney has handled it or she's been appointed the public defender's office. Usually the public defender's office is very, very cognizant of deadlines and because they have an appellate division. Private attorneys sometimes miss deadlines, unfortunately.
We know Sarah is usually very vigilant about her case. Could it be that she's being ignored? You guys get down in the comments. Let me know what are some reasons that Sarah would not have filed her appeal by now. And if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it Tanika that found out Sarah's appeal wasn't filed initially? And that's how we found out who Josh was, I believe Martell. So now what has become of that relationship between them?
Do you think Sarah Boone will, or should I say was, as difficult with her appellate lawyer as she was with you and the other trial attorneys that tried so hard to fight for her?
Well, she's going to have a lot less access to that attorney because obviously she's serving her sentence at this point. She's in prison, probably in the women's prison in Lowell, Florida, which is near Ocala. And her public defender is somewhere in Polk County, which is probably 100 miles or so away. So, she'll have telephone contact and probably some internet contact, but it'll be very much limited to what she had previously.
Did you see that big old smile on Frank Bankowitz's face? He knows that it's a whole different ball game now. Sarah's not going to be able to manipulate the way she did before. Sarah is now serving hard time in close confinement, 23-hour lockdown. And from the behavior notes, we saw that in 1 hour's time, she's expected to shower, socialize, and make any calls that she needs to within that time. Oh, and eat as well. I believe she has 20 minutes for chow. So it's quite possible that she's very overwhelmed right now, but I don't think she forgot about her appeal. It's quite possible that she's just severely being punished and has less access as she used to. Do you think Sarah's finally regretting not taking the plea deal? And what about all of the people that she had rallying around her to make bad decisions?
She was her own worst enemy. Uh, well, when I had the case, I had an offer which I recommended to her, which would have been in 15 years in Department of Corrections with credit for all the time she served, and she rejected that. And it's my understanding the state offered that right up to a point of trial, to the point of jury selection, and she continued to deny responsibility and started a trial, and she got a trial.
Wow. And
Oh, she got a trial, all right. Sidebar, doesn't it look like Frank is still tired of Sarah? Did you see the way he tilted his head at the end? He looks like he's still over her.
for anybody who may need a refresher, I mean, this was around the year 2020, and she was, in for almost 5 years' time, if I remember correctly. So, as you said, credit for time served would amount to her not having to do that full 15. She'd get credit for what she's already done. Wow, that's really something.
There were a lot of people that thought by Judge Cranick not giving Sarah more of a heads up that she wasn't entitled to another attorney, that was grounds for her to get an appeal. I personally thought that when he didn't give James Owens a extension, that may have been grounds for an appeal, because James had just came on and he needed more time to get prepared. However, Judge Cranick had already written his 16-page ruling that Sarah wasn't going to get any more extensions. There was no more reindeer games, no more dancing with the dogs. It was time for her to get her ducks in a row, no matter who was representing her.
And now, she's on the verge of losing out on her appeal, which may have some merit in terms of the fact, don't forget the judge at one point said she loses the right to court-appointed counsel and things like that. There may be some issues here that are ripe for review on an appellate level, and you certainly don't want those to slip away at this point.
So is there redemption for Sarah Boone? We'll never know if she doesn't file her appeal paperwork. Is she too focused on her family law case that's coming up that she forgot about her appeal? And isn't she going to go right back in front of Judge Cranick if she did happen to win an appeal anyway? So, que sera, Sarah. Did you guys keep up with the Kohlberger case? And how did you feel about the parents, reacting to the plea deal? And their pain will never end, but now the case kind of comes to an end. They have a bit of closure. Just no answers to why he would do that. Just no answers. I think that's what hurt the most, is that there's a lot of unanswered questions in this whole thing. But I was reading the New York Post, and even though Brian was a criminal justice student, he was well versed in criminal law. He slipped up a lot. Brian made many mistakes, but he planned on, I assume, making a career out of hurting people fatally. But there has been new evidence leaked that a Qtip broke the case. Allegedly, the detectives got a Qtip out of his trash can, and this guy was like bagging up his trash can with gloves in little Ziploc bags and throwing it down the street in like a neighbor's house to avoid the cops going in his trash. He had studied crime scene processing while he was working on his PhD. So he had a knowledgeable skill set about what they were looking for. So Brian thought he had it all figured out, even though he left the knife sheath on the floor next to, or the bed next to one of the victims. And leave a comment below if you have any theories on who he was targeting in the house. The new evidence allegedly states that one of the students, Xana, who was there with her boyfriend Ethan, she had literally just ordered DoorDash, and that may have put her in the cross paths of Brian as he was leaving the house, taking the lives of her two roommates upstairs, which I think he was targeting one of those girls upstairs. And the evidence shows that he walked through a sliding door in the house at 4 a.m. These were college students in a college town, a sleepy town of Moscow. They were not used to crime. They came in from partying and they left the sliding door unlocked. And Brian honed in on that and he got in the house. He moved to the third floor where Maddie and Kaylee were, and even though they had their dogs there, I believe the dogs witnessed the crime. It was just a really horrible thing. But he was offered a plea deal. And he will never see the light of day. He's agreed to sign over his right to appeal. And he's agreed that he'll never see the light of day. This does anger some of the family because they wanted a trial. They wanted details. They wanted to know why he did this. But some of the other family members of the victims were just ready to put this behind them, as you can imagine. According to the New York Post, the family is split over the plea deal. The deal stipulates that Kohberger will be spared execution in exchange for 4 consecutive life sentences. He also waived his right to appeal to challenge the sentence. Some of the victims' families have been quoted saying that we now embark on a new path. We embark on a path of hope and healing. While the sister of Kaylee, whom is believed to be the target, she's quoted by saying that Brian Kohberger facing a life sentence in prison means that he'll still get to speak, form relationships, and engage with the world. Meanwhile, our loved ones have been silenced forever. And she's absolutely right, because he has like a weird cult following already, as a lot of those types of people do behind bars. And he will live sort of a glamorized life, but he's also going to face some prison justice too. He's not having a good time behind bars. Let me know how you feel about the Brian Kohberger plea deal down below. And you had to be under a rock if you didn't see the Sean Diddy Combs verdict. How did you guys feel about that? Were you surprised? Were you shocked? Or did you expect the verdict? Were you expecting that he would not be found guilty? What were your thoughts on that case? It took over the internet this weekend. How are you feeling about that? Like, do you think justice was served? Do you think new charges will be brought against Sean Puffy Combs? I see there have been charges against his adult son, so this saga might not be over. It could just be another chapter in his new legal battle, so we'll keep our eye on that too. Did you see any familiar faces outside of the courthouse? I saw a few content creators that I really enjoy, and they made me proud as a subscriber, and I was happy that they were there. They gave the facts, and I watched the trial from different points of views, and it was pretty interesting. Did you see any of your favorite content creators there, or what was your thoughts on the aftermath of Diddy's verdict? Pandemonium and chaos that was going on outside the courtroom, the federal courtroom in New York. People were acting a fool, you guys.
We're going to find out in October how long he'll have to serve for his twin convictions of transportation to engage in prostitution. That is,
Diddy was denied bail, and he will be held until October 3rd for sentencing. That's around his birthday, so he might get a birthday surprise or he might not. Get down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. Did Sarah Boone forget her appeal documents? Did she forget to file? How are you feeling about the Brian Kohlberger plea deal and that shocking R. Kelly verdict. If you made it this far, you know I appreciate you, and I'll check back in with you soon. Take care. Bye.
Today was a monumental loss for prosecutors in the Diddy case. They were, I wish there were a bigger word than the word losers.